Last year was, I guess it was, probably a learning experience more than anything else. We had a great bunch of seniors who graduated. We kind of made a tribute of our season to those guys and went out on a high note there at the end. We have developed a lot more depth at a number of positions. We have a lot of guys that are playing for us, so there's a great rotation system trying to keep guys fresh, and I think we've got a lot more talent, a lot more ability than what we've had certainly last year.
This is your second year on the job, so what exactly would you say you learned the most in your first year here?
The thing that it didn't take me too long to figure out, but I figured out what the personality of our football team was, and it was a grinded out type of mentality. Our guys come to work every single day. We use the phrase they punch the clock. They get in there, and they are great effort kids. So you don't see anyone taking lazy steps on the field. They put forth a great effort on the field just like they do in the classroom, and that's one of the things that I really love about them. So coaching football here at RPI, you don't have to coach effort. You know what you're going to get out of the kids every single day, and that's refreshing.
You said you returned 65. How many starters do you return?
We return 7 starters on offense. We return 8 starters on defense. So we have some experience at those positions. We do have a number of holes to fill on both sides of the ball from graduation. But I think instead of filling it necessarily with one guy, trading one for one, we're probably doing with 2 or 3 guys to try to cover up what we lost from graduation.
Like Moneyball, kind of, with the athletics.
That's right.
I like that.
That's right. Yeah. So, what we think is that we have a team of when we travel, we have about 65 guys traveling, and we say that there's no ERW guys. There's no eat, ride, and wake up. Okay. Everyone has to do something. Everyone's contributing on the football field. So everyone's going to be doing something.
You obviously are breaking in a new quarterback. Obviously, I know he split reps last year with 2 other guys, but now he is the main guy. What did you have him focus on this offseason to help him better prepare for being the main guy?
Well, he needed to learn our offense, and it's the easiest. That's the easiest explanation I could give to you. He was in a situation where he came in. It was his first year. He had basically 10 days of training camp. And then a couple of our starters got hurt, and he was thrown into some live action. Ran the offense well without truly understanding, what we were trying to accomplish, what we were trying to get out of it. And he took a huge step forward here in the spring with spring practice, and then certainly here in the fall. Seems a whole lot more comfortable. Knows his reads, knows where, knows his checks and all that stuff. So that's comforting. And he also has some heat behind him of guys that are really pushing him. So that's kind of neat as well.
I was going to say, since you have 7 other guys who you are returning, would you say that helps him a little bit, knowing that these guys know exactly what the offense entails, and rightfully so? Would you be running the football more knowing you have a first-year quarterback?
I don't. I think the offense dictates. Defense is going to be dictated. What the offense does, and vice versa. And we're going to look to take our shots. Certainly throwing the football and running the football. So it's more or less a balanced type offense where we're going to be throwing it and running it. And certainly when we have someone who's proficient with throwing the football, that makes it a whole lot easier. I think the one thing that you see from one year to the next, and certainly from a coaching standpoint, is the comfort level that the kids have with our systems, with the offense, with the defense, with special teams. You have more people who understand what's going on, understand what we're trying to accomplish in all 3 phases, and there's less of a learning curve for those guys. And then all we need to do is to find some of those freshmen, plug them into some certain situations, and then we've got a solid unit.
Defensively, you say you return 8 guys who were starters. with there being the majority of those guys back, would you feel like this could be a year where maybe you blitz a little more often, or you take some chances maybe in the secondary, ball hawking wise?
Well, if you look at the strength of our defense, certainly, we graduated Ted Abriel, who was all everything for us at nose guard last year. He was our team MVP at nose guard. So just think about that for a second. Nose guard is your team MVP. So he was a huge run stopper for us, was great in the passing game as well. So if you look at the strength of our defense, certainly our secondary returning, our back seven that are returning, that's a strength for us. The linebacking core, the corners and safeties, and then we've got some guys up front that we think that we can rely on. So blitzing wise, I mean, it's all kind of part of what our personality is to put pressures to stop the run, okay, and then pressure to pass. So there's no real secret formula there, but I think that those guys have really come together and really gelled nicely here through camp.
And Saturday you guys get Norwich in your first game. Talk about them. What do you know about them?
Well, Norwich is one of 4 playoff teams that we play on our schedule. They were 7-4 last year. They're picked first in their conference. They have an all-everything running back who's returning. I think we probably caught them last year at the right time. First game of the season, they were traveling on the road. We'll be traveling on the road first game of the season this year up to their place. And I think it's going to be everything that we want in the football game. Certainly, I think both teams are going to be highly motivated. I don't think you have to worry about that. But it'll be a nice atmosphere. They've got the core cadets up there in Norwich, so it's going to be a great football game.
I think I'm going to be one of those guys who, if something needs to be said, because I'm not liking the tempo or something of the practice, I'm going to go ahead and say what needs to be said. I want to make sure that everybody's crisp and sound and just on point with whatever assignments there are. So I think that since they were 5-5 last year, they were kind of young. The experience wasn't there, and coming this season, coming back, we're gonna have to be able to realize that we've been in this situation before, and let's just get the job done.
You have a first-year quarterback coming in now. I know he played some last year, but this is his first year being the guy. As somebody who's a senior, do you feel like there's some pressure on him to kind of get going early? Because this is your last year, and I'm sure you don't want to rebuild.
I don't think there's any pressure. We practice hard, and I think it's just going to transit to the games. The battles are won out here, and we prepare ourselves here for the games. So he's confident. We're all confident in him, and I'm sure he'll lead us to victory.
And going into this game now, you guys get Norwich. Obviously, your coach says you caught them at the right time last year. What do you think about this game coming up on Saturday?
They're definitely going to want some revenge. It's their first game at home, and like you said, we might have caught them luckily last year, but I mean, they're working hard, we're working hard. It's going to be a good contest, and the better team is probably going to win.
For the RPI fans that are obviously not out here today, but obviously have full confidence in you guys, what would you say to them why are you guys going to do better this year than 5-5 as opposed to last year?
Well, experience is definitely a big thing. The guys coming back, we have another year under our belt of the system. We have our coach coming back, which has always been trouble with us, and we're confident. We understand the playbook more. We're a family, and I think that's going to be a good enough job to help us prevail. Because like I said, we're working hard on here, so the experience will take care of all the intangible stuff like that.
So where do you expect this team to be at the end of the season?
I'm not too sure. We'd like Liberty League Championship, but we take one game at a time, and hopefully we can get some wins on those.